Hey guys, it's Julesy, and hopefully I can actually get this up today on Thursday. But let's talk about last night's episode of Underground. And oh my gosh, you can't even see my shirt. Give me a minute. You see it? Can you see? Look? I got me a low key hotep. I'm bugging. It's a smart brown girl. Well, not my brand smart brown girl, but from another smart brown girl, Denicio, gave me this shirt in New Orleans, and I've been trying to find a way to rock it, but I'm standing on my tippy toes right now. But look, Africa. Last night's episode of Underground. Oh my gosh, I'm actually putting up a review for one episode and not two. 28 was the title of yesterday's episode of Underground. And girl, where are my notes? This is like the one critique I have of Underground. The action of the show is great. It's definitely keeping you on your toes. But there's like holes in the storyline that I have an issue with because I'm trying to figure out, where are these people going? What state are they in? I thought y'all was just in Ohio. Was y'all in Tennessee? Is y'all in Georgia or South Carolina? Then I be reading like vulture.com reviews and they get advanced screeners, so I feel like they should know more than I do. They're saying things about people's locations and I'm like, wait, what? Is her name Patsy? Should I call this Becky Darth Becky by her real name? Patsy, Annie wanna be Oakley, that white woman's. Why she shave off Cato's brows? Like, who's she trying to make him look like? Do the free black men of Philadelphia shave off their brows? Like, huh? What year are we in? Because, you know, I just finished reading Homegoing by Jasi. I don't know. I saw her say her last name, and I remember thinking, oh, that sounds way closer to Jesus than I thought it would, because it's Gyasi. It tracks the lineage between two half-sisters in Ghana, one who stays in Ghana and the other who ends up becoming a slave in America. And there is a chapter where it talks about and this is the one chapter in the book where I cry, girl, bust a real thug tear, talking about when the Slave Refuge Act was passed, I believe it was. Basically, there was a law passed in like the 1850s where slaves who have crossed over into the Union could still be captured and taken back and sent back to their slave owners in the South. And this was a federal law. And this is a really real function of history in America where black folks were kidnapped into slavery on American soil. You know, at my family reunion on my mother's side, they used to tell this story all the time about how somebody in our family basically came over as a free black man. He was a merchant in West Virginia or in Virginia itself. And he was captured into slavery even though he had rose to a certain amount of wealth, and there's like a town named after us somewhere in Virginia or something, girl. I remember hearing this story every year about how this man was basically kidnapped into slavery. He didn't come over on a slave ship. So this is a really real function of history for just about every African American in the United States. But it's interesting how they are building it up, and it makes you wonder what year this is in, because it was much more prevalent, especially in a city like Philadelphia, where there was a major abolitionist movement happening. And year question mark always pops up for me, and then the location question mark is just like, how did August, I remember Detective did I call him, his name wasn't even Detective Stabler on the show, I just making up names, y'all know this. How did August get from Philly to wherever Stein was in that last scene so quickly? Like, how much time is a passing here? I don't be knowing. So basically, Annie wannabe Oakley makes this deal with Cato that he has to capture 60 black men, free black men, capture them so they could sell them back into slavery for $7. My God, what? In a fuckery. In order to keep Devi free. And they were threatening to torture Devi. He beats up this one black man in a bathhouse. They round him up in a little makeshift jail they have in the back of the horse. And I guess they're selling him off to the magistrate. How is this being, are they still in Philadelphia? Are they in another part of Pennsylvania? Whose house is they staying at? I is color confused, this bitch is whack, and I don't be knowing. The opening scene with Daniel. Who is Daniel? Did I miss this? Have we discerned that Daniel is actually Steen's first son? Steen, I'm saying it, I won't say Stein. Steen, Ernest Steen first son. Is that what Daniel is? Is that what this man do? What just happened in that whole setup? Girl, I should probably put it back on right now and rewatch it. But I just like, have we figured out what my man is doing? Is he working towards freedom for somebody? Is he going to be part of the Nat Turner movement, the John Brown movement? Did I miss it? Who is he? Rosalie and I guess we're just traveling through like weeks and months here, because Rosalie and Noah's already back on the Macon plantation. Rosalie is just doing the most. almost to the point that it makes me really uncomfortable off of the strength of knowing, like, I get it. I will never understand what it is like to have family alive that you know you are never going to see again. This speaks to the wishes of slaves who had to run away to their freedom, of black folks who had to pass to find some form of liberation, and basically abandon their families and trying to pass for white. I just still feel like at some point you are pregnant and you are putting another person's life in jeopardy, and you are so tunnel vision on this one thing on this one accomplishment that you're trying to achieve, and you are just doing the absolute most and giving no fucks about anybody's safety. It's like, yo, y'all are back on a plantation y'all ran away from like over 600 miles, and you're not even taking into consideration how long it's been, how young your brother is, trying to have a conversation with him and let him know that you're back first and then set him up like that. I don't know. And then, yo, I feel like we all knew James wasn't going to want to be free when old girl came from the house and explained to her that her mama done been sold off somewhere. So they got to figure out where by getting a hold of this book or whatever. And then they talking about James living in the big house, and the mistress of the house done took him in and like as her own son. My man is sleeping on a goose down mattress, living comfortable in them clean white crisp cotton sheets that his peoples is picking out in the fields to weave them cotton sheets together for him, and he just gives no fucks because he's living pretty. He is a made nigger. And how you trying to take this man back? This boy, he's not even a man. He's not even a person of reasonable age, and you didn't even think about any of the other possibilities other than that he's going to want to go on foot with you, girl. Okay, that wasn't pretty smart. Clara, the actress that plays Clara, is gorgeous. By the way, that is one beautiful ass black woman. She is just dazzling. But the shift in her becoming a rather villainous and bitter black woman, it just happened so quickly out of nowhere. I'm kind of shocked that is the pathway they took with her. She got in the master's bed. He put some new white linens on her. She feeling sexy and feeling royal. And now she feel like she has some vengeance against Steen, and I don't really understand why, because if anything, Steen is the only person that really looked out for her well-being. I mean, it just, the way she goes like batshit crazy though, like it went so far left that it almost makes it unbelievable that she would have that devilish look in her eyes. It was the buildup of that just happened, like boom, bat, what? Damn, the dick done did that to you, girl? What's in your pussy? Putting in too much work with that attitude. But Steen gave her a word when she said, nothing good comes from this world, even if you sit at the top. Leave it alone, leave it alone. Okay, so the setup with Steen stealing Matthew's 24-year-old bottle of scotch and trading that with the overseer or with whoever for her freedom. I mean, I get it, because what's red label, blue label, which one of them is the real expensive one? Scotch, whiskey, cognac can get real expensive in these streets, especially when it's aged. But a white man went down for that? Like, really? That's it? And then where did she just walk her happy ass off to? Did she hop on a boat? Is she on the back of a horse? Did she hop on the train? Where'd she go? That she then gets her freedom and runs right into August. Did she just walk into town in South Carolina? First of all, cause that shit don't even make no sense. Did she get onto the mainland of South Carolina? Because right now she's in Geechee Gullah, Rice Island, right? Did she get onto the mainland of South Carolina, the state that led the succession in the Civil War, because they wanted to keep their slaves at the time when they had more black slaves than white people? So you know, the system of oppression that upheld chattel slavery was massive. You can still see the impact of it today in 2017 if you go down to Charleston, South Carolina. It is so in your face obvious the wealth that these white folks are built off the backs of black folks. Look at me tripping over my words and shit. But what I'm trying to say, ain't no black woman just gonna walk on the mainland of South Carolina and not get got. There was a system, a very thorough system in place to keep black folks from revolting and keep them in check as slaves. So where is she? Was she in Philly? Was she in Delaware? And how did this man just run right into her? I don't get it. Ooh, that was a good episode though. I am so disappointed to see Cato kidnapping. Like, I knew this happened in history, but to see him do it to another black man. And then is DV black? Because I could have swore the last Whiteface episode or whatever episode that was, she was telling Cato that she's a silken down Indian. So Indians was just getting thrown into slavery in Americas too, like the Indians, not the Indians, not the Native Americans, but the Indians from India. They was getting put into slavery. What's happening here? Where are they gonna sell this woman with a proper English accent to? How is this happening in Philadelphia? How is Annie Wanna Be Oakley just roaming these streets doing whatever the fuck she want and ain't nobody stopping her? Nobody? Cato's storyline, as much as it brings the action, it's like, ooh, oh my gosh, is that really happening? But wait, how is that? Wait, is that really happening? That's how I be watching the scenes. Like, it's gruesome, but then I be like, wait, where'd that even come from, bruh? All right, so let me know in the comments on the blog post down below what your thoughts were on this episode. Did you enjoy it? Was you feeling it? Underground this season, it's lit, y'all. It's lit. Deuces.